Hey everyone, welcome back. So as our parent, it's difficult to leave your child for long periods of time, and it's even more difficult for the children. So our next guest serves in the military and was deployed to the Middle East, spending 9 months away from her son. And through that experience, she decided to create a children's book to help parents and children during such times of separation. Her book, Volveré De Nuevo, I Will Come Back, reflects on parenthood and a love that knows no limits. Joining us to tell us more, please welcome author and Marine Staff Sergeant Padgy Soltis. Hello and welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
I've been trained to always thank our military servers with a thank you, or greet them with a thank you, I should say, for your service. So thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Pero quite frankly speaking, Staff Sergeant, that's a tall order right there. And I understand you've been serving for 10 years now?
Yes, 10 years.
10 years, wow. So, and your son is how old now?
He's 5 years old.
He's 5 years old. So I would imagine that must have been challenging for you because you were like in mid-service when you gave birth to your son. So let's talk about this whole process and of course also the fact that the book is not solely written in English, it's written bilingual. It's both in English and Spanish.
Yes. So my parents are from the Dominican Republic, and Spanish was my first language, and it's really important for me to raise my son bilingually. And when I decided to make a book, I debated doing an English-only version, but at the end of the day, I knew that I wanted it to be bilingual in order for me to be able to read it to him.
All right, so this book that has beautiful illustrations attached to it, which I know you're going to be giving us a little taste shortly. Would you say it's geared more towards military families, or is it applicable to just, let's say, people who may go away for business and or just people who are dealing with separation anxiety?
It's applicable to all types of families that deal with any type of separation. Even myself, my mother, she's in Jersey, we're in North Carolina, so she's away from my son, and he does miss her a lot. So it's a book that they can connect with as well. When they FaceTime, she can read it to him. So it's applicable to all families, not just military.
All right, so just so that everybody can get a sense of what we're talking about and we can elaborate further, how about we give them a taste of a few pages, if you don't mind?
Gotcha. The book is titled Volveré De Nuevo, and I'll be reading the last 3 pages with you.
And as you're looking through it, who created the illustrations?
The illustrations was done by Dasvinka Rak. She's actually in the Ukraine. We work virtually to get this book done.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
And so you're reading the last 3 pages you mentioned?
Yes, I am. So, here we go. Volveré de nuevo para cantarte una canción, porque tú eres mi cielo, mi hogar y mi ilusión. I will come back to sing you a song. Right here with you is where I belong. Aunque sean horas o días desde que he partido, solo recuerda que te quiero y así siempre ha sido. Whether I'm gone for hours or days, remember I love you forever, always. Volveré de nuevo, te lo puedo asegurar, porque nada en este mundo jamás nos puede separar. I will come back. I promise it's true. I'd never let anything keep me from you.
Oh my gosh, it's so touching, so simple and so short, but yet so moving.
Yes.
Yes.
I actually wrote it 4 years ago.
You did?
Yes, and it's been sitting in a box, and I decided to publish it this year.
Yeah, this is a good year to publish something like that because we're all on emotional roller coaster rides right now. So that's probably amplified in me. It's amplifying my emotions because I think we all need to reassure each other in this particular time.
Yes, yes.
And you know what I noticed also that I really appreciate in the book is that you have all ethnicities in the book.
Yes, that's a really big thing for me. I love to find books that have diverse characters for my son, not only for him to see himself, but also for him to see me. He sees books. I have a big curly afro in the military. I obviously cannot, but he sees that and he's like, he thinks of mommy, and he sees different characters. Oh, that looks like my cousin or my friend and all that stuff. So I did want diverse characters in my book.
Yeah, and I also noticed that you have, like I said, it's mixed, right? And I wonder, the being in the military, what kind of influence that played in your choices.
Yeah, being in the military, it's a very diverse community. You have people from all over the world. I've probably met people from places you've never imagined. So I just wanted to have children be represented within my book.
And so right now that you've chosen to publish it, what do you hope that you will gain from just publishing it finally? I mean, obviously this is a love letter to your son, and you've birthed it and you're sharing it with the world. But what do you hope that any parent or any other family would take with them by getting this book?
I want this book to just create a bridge for families that are experiencing separation. I've gotten a couple messages on Instagram and to my email saying that this book was gifted to someone who was going to be away and that it's helped them during that time. So as long as it helps people get through these tough times, because it's tough on the parents, but it's also tough on the kids.
And so when you say going away, right, just because I want to just talk about that a little bit, right, because we're talking about the book and it's all fluff, right, from this perspective, but in a realistic situation of child having to be separated from their parent for whatever period of time, it's a conversation, right, or not, or perhaps this book reading of understanding that sometimes parents need to do what they need to do for their occupational purposes, and that's not necessarily understood by a child.
Yes, it is hard. My son was 2 years old when I left, so he didn't know where I was. He just knew mommy was on a phone for 9 months. So yeah, the book just translating that message of I'm gonna come back to you, regardless of the distance or time. It was a very important message for me to get out there.
Wow, that must have been hard for you too, though, as a mom.
Toughest thing I've ever done, and the reason why I'll be leaving the military next year.
Right. Well, you've completed your service, right? Next year. At least it's an honorable discharge, right?
Yeah.
Of course, I'm making a joke out of it, but I know it must have been, and especially during this particular period of time, this must have been a little challenging for you. So it's lovely that you were able to produce this beautiful piece of artwork and storytelling for yourself and for families to just embrace it within their own household. So thank you for bringing it here to our viewers. Padgy Soltis, right? And I just want everybody to know that her book, Volveré De Nuevo, I Will Come Back, is available at Target. And of course, it's available on Amazon. And if you're interested in learning more about Padgy Soltis, you can follow her on Instagram at Padgy with 4 Ys, and don't forget to thank her for her service. All right, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll speak to the winners of this year's Bronx 48-Hour Film Challenge. Don't go anywhere.